I was trying because it was back when I felt like people weren't appreciating her, and now I'm like, oh, people appreciate her now. I just feel silly, I think, trying to like emulate her now.
I am so incredibly honored that she's joining us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, she's the one and only Laura Slade Wiggins.
Yeah.
What's up? How you doing?
Doing good. How are you ladies doing?
We're doing fantabulous, and we really appreciate you being here. Before we got started, I know you and Danica were talking about you both have mandolins, which is pretty rad. I don't know how many people are mandolin players, so yeah.
I mean, I'm not one yet, so
I'm not that far behind you. I play a lot more guitar, but the mandolin it's pretty cool. It's really pretty. So
I might have to join the mandolin gang.
Yeah. Ooh, we'll form a little club. And Seeley obviously will be our head of everything because he is like the penultimate mandolin player. Oh my God.
Totally.
Fair.
So we all know that this year has been a little difficult, more difficult for a lot of people than has been for others. But all around, of course, it's been really, really trying. But one very good thing to come out of this year, we're very excited, and I hope we're okay to be saying this, but we wanted to congratulate you on your pregnancy.
Oh yeah, that's always like another crazy. Well, everyone's pregnant right now. I feel like a lot of people have been, spending their time.
Yeah. It's definitely one way to pass the time for sure. Well, congratulations, Laura.
Yeah, I'm excited. We got a little girl heading over in March. So, cool. Yeah.
It's a good month. I'm a March baby. Congratulations. That is, that's so amazing. So I did see the sonogram that you posted before. So do you already have a name picked out for her?
We do. We're going to name her Clementina because her grandma was Clementine. So it's like, she came from Spain. So it's like a way to like have a nod to Clementine, but she's like little Clementine. So she's Clementina.
Oh, that's so beautiful. It's beautiful. Cute. I love the story behind the name, and it's unique.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not, I mean, basically, like 100 years ago, everyone was naming their kid Clementine. And I guess the Spanish pronunciation was Clementine. So there.
Fair. And then there's a song about it too, which we can all play on the mandolin later. So
yeah, exactly.
So another thing that we kind of wanted to mention, another thing that's been keeping us sane during this crazy time is the ability to follow and watch sports. And I see you posting about sports here and there. So what are the teams that you've been following? Like, what are your diehard teams?
All right. Well, I mean, a lot of things have switched around this year. And I was watching a lot of professional, and then I've lost it a little bit. I mean, like last night, we have like the Patriots that almost lost to the Jets, which is like a totally 2020 crazy thing.
The Jets don't win. Sorry if you're Jets fans.
They don't win.
Apologies. And, just like...
and so, obviously, Belichick and Tom Brady are two celebrities that have that was like the celebrity power couple. There's Jay-Z and Beyonce, and there's Belichick and Brady. And
they're right there.
I always, I've got my Rams shirt on here. So I'm always rooting them on. And then the Falcons have Todd Gurley. So, and I love Todd Gurley because I love the Georgia Bulldogs. So there you go.
Awesome. I know my mom's watching, and she's been cheering for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we'll wave our terrible towers all around. I don't know. No,
you
good.
Can't.
Not bad.
No, you can't mess with the Steelers this year. They're on fire. So
yay!
It's a good year.
Sports. That's about as much as Danica and I know. You just taught us a lot.
Area of expertise.
We did it.
Yay! Sports.
But let's talk about something that is my area of expertise, which is theater. So what we really were interested in is I was curious, what is the first live production that you remember seeing? And is that maybe what sparked your interest in performance?
It's kind of, well, I think for sure, like my mom is very theatrical just when she talks. And then, but I do remember they took me, I mean, probably the first thing I saw was like the Nutcracker or something like that. Because I feel like my mom took me to see that every freaking year. But then I remember as a kid, my favorite musical was Cats, which is hilarious now because everyone's like, I still haven't watched the movie because I still love the play, but
Okay.
I don't know if I can stomach the movie.
I liked it. It was a wild train ride. If you've never done drugs, it is like the greatest high you'll ever get. It's amazing. So, okay. Fair.
You know.
Well, do you also remember what was the first show you performed in?
First show we did.
Okay, brief pause, brief intermission while we wait for her to get her internet back. Yay!
There you go.
And did it again.
Woohoo!
My alarm keeps reminding me to be on the show, which keeps making me not be on the show.
It's all right. Technology is a blast. We love her.
Wonderful. So yeah, but we did our own version of Cinderella. And if you're like a Broadway fan, what's really crazy is Titus Burgess was our piano player.
Really?
What?
Because I was so sad. I was like in Oconee County, Georgia, and I was so sad that I had to be a mean stepsister. And he was like, "You need to just work this, Laura. You can do this. You don't." I want to be a fairy that's nice to Cinderella. That's like, I guess, you know, and I think it was like in third grade, but we were like, it was awesome. It was so crazy. Titus was our like music instructor for like 3 years, and then he goes off to New York, and the rest is history. He's Titus Burgess now.
Do you still keep in touch?
I used to see him around in LA a little bit, but I haven't heard from him in a little bit. But he is every bit as like, because he went on to teach in New York too, so he like loves all his students, and I'm sure all of them he's like. But of course, I'm his favorite. Definitely.
Absolutely. I believe it.
Southern favorite.
Oh, you little Southern belle. I love it.
You should call him and convince him to do our show.
Yeah, there you go. Nice, Danica. I was actually going to say, speaking of Southern, I remember the first time I met you was at Bubba Fest. And I walked in and I didn't know anybody. There was like a party the night before. And I saw you from across the room. And you had on these like teeth. And I was like, oh, like she should maybe go see a dentist because she's so beautiful, but like, you know, maybe braces or something. I don't know. And then you popped him out and I was like, got it. But I just
mean my social anxiety teeth of
there they are.
Awesome.
That's
orange. But
social anxiety. So I have hillbilly teeth. I got it from Even Stevens years ago. It's great. Don't know how to do it yourself? Wear a disguise.
I love that so much.
Yeah. I feel like I wear a disguise every day. But before we like kind of go into the next question, I know I had messaged this to you before, but I always felt like you were so nice and really went out of your way to make me feel comfortable at the convention when I didn't know anybody else. And I really appreciate that. And that has stuck with me, you know, for, I guess it was almost 2 years ago. And I do appreciate it. Not everybody is nice all the time. So it's always really heartwarming when you meet somebody that is as kind as you are. So thank you for that.
Aw, well, thank you, Heather. Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those, I mean, you're pretty easy to be nice to, obviously, because you're not, I mean, there was a lot going on that convention. It was like Dog the Bounty Hunter, and like, they were like, I'm not taking pictures with people. I'm like, that's the whole point of you being at this convention, to take pictures with people.
And I think it was
no
Bert.
offense to you, Dog. I mean, whatever.
I'm a long-time watcher. I think it was also Burt Reynolds' final convention, wasn't it?
It was. And that was crazy because my grandma, not Clementina, but I guess it would have been like her mother-in-law. Basically, she went to FSU with Burt Reynolds. So it was like we talked about my grandma Joan, and he totally remembered her. And so it was just like the craziest thing, like a month later that he was gone. But that was really, and like Dolly Parton was apparently there at some point. I wish we would have seen her because that would have, but I don't know if I could have survived being with Dolly Parton. I'd probably explode.
Well, Danica, why don't we segue into that first then?
Oh, sure. So obviously, a lot of us know that you are a huge Dolly fan. So what would you say that it is about Dolly that makes her so unique and so widely famous, and that everybody loves her?
I think it's just that, like, obviously she's wildly talented and so beautiful, but there was a time when I was a kid, like especially in the 90s and early 2000s, when people would want to dismiss her as just like big boobs, and like she just always stood up for herself, that like I can look pretty however I want to look pretty, and I get to decide how I look pretty, and if it's pretty to me, it's all that matters. And she just was everyone, and even though sometimes she kind of come from this more conservative background, she would still stick up for everybody's rights, and it just had always stuck with me. I don't know, like I'm sure you guys are pretty big fans. I feel like everyone's a fan now. Like she could run for president and hands down she would win. Nobody'd ask
Absolutely.
questions.
Listen, if she could have any position in the cabinet too, like I'm down. Dolly for cabinet, any secretary, I don't care. But yeah, I'm ready for a woman president too. So let's get her in there. Are you a fan of Best Little Whorehouse?
I am. That is a good. And I really like, obviously, Steel Magnolias, even though it's such a painful one.
I directed that recently.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh no!
Such a great play. Such a great play, though.
There are parts of it that are really funny, and there are parts of it that just have not aged well.
Fair.
Okay, I probably like disregard all that. I'm like, whatever. It's a long time ago.
We're not watching for the plot. We're just watching for her beauty.
Dolly did it.
Yes, exactly.
The heart and the soul. It's the heart and the soul.
That is true, though.
Have you ever performed any of her songs?
I used to do this thing, like I never really was able to like actualize it, but I wanted to like dress up like her, and so I did. Like I know like Coat of Many Colors, I Will Always Love You. We did. I've always like Two Doors Down. Like there was like a whole like set list of like 10 songs I used to be able to rotate. Jolene, which people always think is like this really simple song, but it's got like this awesome guitar groove to it. I mean, I was trying because it was back when I felt like people weren't appreciating her, and now I'm like, oh, people appreciate her now. I just feel silly, I think, trying to like emulate her now.
I mean, how many people can say that they have their own theme park?
Yeah. Besides Walt Disney.
Yeah.
Like,
Walt Disney and Dolly Parton. That's like the two.
Yeah.
And Mr. Universal, whoever he is. Okay. So to kind of like
Mr. Universal.
I don't know. Whatever his name is.
He's an X. I'm pretty sure he's an X-Men. So.
Yes. He's the hidden one that they bring out, for theme park nighttime stuff. Okay. So to circle back into acting, do you remember your first TV or film casting and what it was for?
I mean, I remember, yes, because it was for. I'm like trying, like my brain like flip flops, but I'm pretty sure the first one I really remember was for Gushers, but I'm sure I did but I ended up doing it, but it was just like for a still like just a still, you know, like just one photograph, and it was like for the kid who had like an orange gusher. And so I
Yes.
had to go to Cartoon Network and be like, ah! And then I had like a giant orange head.
Heck yeah. That's so
And I got paid
gushers.
$100, and I was excited. Yeah.
I love the
And I was like,
90s.
That was
oh,
a
they're
big
paying me
break.
$100, Mom. Drive me to Atlanta.
Did they at
It
least
was
give you like a
very
lifetime supply of
thoughtful.
gushers?
No, yeah. Well, maybe for $90, $100 if I just bought gushers. Would have lasted the month for me.
Heck
I
yeah.
really love gushers. I still eat all this really bad food from the 90s.
Do you have any other like candy that
Nostalgic candy.
Yeah, nostalgic candy. That's a good one, Danica.
I mean, what candies do I not like? I'm trying to. That's a better question, really.
You know what
Warheads?
Oh, I can't quite do those like I used to, but sometimes I will do it. Sometimes I will do it. Like, oh, that's some heartburn, but it got so sweet at the end. And they used to have the fizzy ones, and those were my favorite, but they discontinued those, I think.
You know what I just tried for the first time? Dunkaroos. And I highly recommend.
They're back.
I can't believe they came back.
They're back. They're back. And if you can get some Dunkaroos, yes, you will not regret it.
Oh, Dance with Pop Rocks. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm watching Riverdale right now, and that's like a big thing. Yeah, delicious. Okay, so of course we have to ask about Shameless. And when you were filming the show, did you have any idea that it was going to become this like global, worldwide phenomenon that it's become?
I feel like John Wells, the producer, had an idea, and maybe Bill Macy, maybe Emmy, but the rest of us were like just reading like. It's why like I probably don't believe in a lot of like conspiracy stuff sometimes when it comes to like, oh well, people are controlling it, because when Shameless first came out, everyone was like, this is absolutely not okay. You cannot make fun of alcoholics. And it was just this weird thing. Like, it was like, I really thought we were going to get canceled eventually. And then somehow, like, it just started to, like, people just started being like, but this is exactly how my family acts to things. And, like, even within my family, I have, you know, extended family members anyways that used to have these issues where, like, you know, you're, like, talking to them and they just smell like alcohol and they make no sense. And at some point it's frustrating and it's depressing, but the other side of it is kind of funny because it's so larger than life. It's just there's no rhyme or reason to it. And for some reason with addicts you try to like apply reason to like why something is happening. You can't. So I guess now it makes sense it would be big because everyone like, and then like Karen's like this textbook case of like forgotten child of like in a family that's just constantly seeking attention and will do anything to get it, you know. Just, I mean, it's sad, but at the same time you have to laugh about it because there's no other way to cope with it.
There.
Well, kind of on that note, actually, so fortunately, something that this is kind of a big question, but something that's coming to the forefront of the entertainment industry in general is our awareness for the need for mental health resources and for actors and production staff alike. And this also includes, of course, the need for intimacy directors and choreographers, which I love and actually know quite a few in the industry, which is super cool. Would you say that you've seen improvements in the industry in terms of access?
Absolutely. And it definitely feels like, because when Shameless got started, we definitely had some like hiccups with like, you know, what we were allowed to pick. Like now I feel like if somebody comes to me with a scene and I'm not comfortable with it, that I have more access to explain, like figure out like how to shoot it. You know, we like intimacy scenes might get pushed if like nobody knows what's happening. We're like 2009 I think we started shooting. It was just sort of like, well, this was your contractual obligation, so you have to do it now. And so, and that can be, I mean, it ended up being fine. He had fabulous wardrobe people that were always there. And I mean, honestly, nudity ends up being almost as awkward for the crew as the cast, because half of them are just like family guys anyways, that are just like, okay, like I'm gonna put the boom mic over your head and look away. And you're like,
Right.
I know, dude, this is awkward. Like, you don't want to be in the situation either. But, luckily, for the most part, everybody on Shameless, like the main cast especially, like Jeremy White, there was never any like, insidious, like scary stuff going on where anybody was creepy. Sometimes we'd have issues with like guest stars that wouldn't quite understand that we're like, it's just acting. We don't like each other like that. No.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that things are getting better, because I'm, of course, a huge advocate for all of that. And so would you say there are other things that you would like to see to continue to change in that regard? And do you have any advice for people that may still be facing some of those challenges?
I mean, it's really tough when you get into, like, especially when you're kind of new, like I was, like really drawing the line, but you have to be upfront with what you're willing to do, like from the beginning, and be honest with that. And then, like Handmaid's Tale is one show that like really I think has helped with contracts, where their nudity writer is basically if you're not comfortable with it, they'll find another way to shoot it. And I think you just have to be honest with yourself as what is the purpose of the nudity in that scene. And that can be really difficult when you're putting, because that's like your ego gets involved in it. And so sometimes it's like, if you're not willing to do the nudity, period, can't stomach it, then just say, I'm not going to do it, and don't do the role. But there are some roles where I'm like, that really, like, that just kind of needed to be there, even, and it's hard to know, like Handmaids is a good example of when you'll have nudity. It's incredibly uncomfortable, or it's so incredibly relieving to understand, like, that's, like having that consensuality in sex and how wonderful that is. But it is, like my mom did not want to talk to me for the first season of Shameless. She was not happy with that. And neither should she have been. That was shocking.
Fair. But thank you for like being so open about this stuff, because I feel like people don't talk about it enough. I don't know why, but
that I get information, and I work with intimacy directors as a director, and one of the big things that they always advocate for is pretty much know what you're comfortable with. Just like you're saying, know what you're comfortable with, draw the line, and if they say, all right, we're going to go past the line, you say, no, you're not, because I told you what my line was. So if you draw the line, right. Yeah.
And
but you have
so
you don't waggle back and forth on it,
Right. And like the bigger the studio is, I feel like, because I mean, you are probably one of, I don't know, I feel like you would be an awesome director to work for. But then you get these like big studios behind things, and they're trying to make a bottom line, and they know this tit is gonna make that's so like, but that's how, like, I feel like they are that like raunchy with it. They're like, yeah, this like sells for this much, so we need to get this in our film. And that's where you really have to like read scripts before you do them, especially if they're talking about nudity, because it may not have a purpose, and they may not let you get out of that. They may be sticklers for it, and then it sucks because like, well, why do I have to give up this job I really like because of this? But it's not fun to be stuck in a situation where sexually you don't have that like ability to choose. But most of the directors I've worked with, especially with intimacy scenes, have just, and I've worked with a lot of women too. It's just been like, we'll find the best way to portray that where everybody's happy at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't mean to, like, I'm sure like, there are men who can do it, but I feel like with women, it's like, we can figure this out. Like, we can make this really sexy and cool, but it doesn't need to, feel like, oh, I wish I hadn't done something, or
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for sharing those.
Yes, thank you.
It's very important.
Okay.
Good questions.
Yeah, that's always something that Danica, really likes to ask people because it is something that she is invested in and always wants to make sure that the actor is first and foremost.
Safety. I mean, for everybody involved in any production, safety is always number one priority, whether it's comfort about like even a hug that's intimacy. If you're not comfortable with it, we're not doing it. Like, just tell me you're not comfortable and we're not doing it. End of story. We find another way to tell the story because that's why I'm a director.
So,
well, that is amazing, and we need more like you.
Amen.
Yay.
We'll clone her a little bit. So, okay, Laura, what would you say is a dream role for you that you haven't had a chance to do yet, or even like a genre that you would like to have the opportunity to act in?
I definitely would love to do like something like action. That would be really cool. My husband does stunts, so I don't know if you remember this with Kyle. He was at Bubba Fest, but he does stunts. So I'm always like he got off like Matrix 4 earlier this year, and he's like doing, I mean, like doing all this like cool stuff, and I'm like, and I love my Lifetime movies. Don't get me wrong, like they're all my babies, but that would be really cool. And then and then probably like I just got to do a musical, and it was so much fun that I would want to do another one. So I got to do a musical called Stan the Musical, which is a Canadian musical. And so that
I got to see really a little bit of it, pieces of it here and there. It is so cool. And it's such a good premise too. I really like that story. That's cool.
Well, I hope it'll really go some places, because I know that Danny Sher and Robert, like mainly Danny, the producer and writer of that, he's been working on that since like 2001.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's just all about like the work. Yeah, it's like about his grandparents and how they came here as immigrants and were mainly discarded, and they go and fight for our rights. And this is a good story and reminder that like we're all immigrants and like we all have value.
Yay!
Very fair. So, Danica, why don't you ask one more question, then we'll go to the game.
All right. So we read in an interview that you are interested in producing your own work, perhaps. So what are you most interested in working on, or do you already have anything in progress or stuff that you're eyeing or anything like that? That gets really excited.
I really want to do something like with like the Georgia, like Georgia used to have like, the old like, well, I guess like I want to do something sort of like the old like Smokey and the Bandit, like Hal Needham movies, like a trucker movie, but like put like girls in it and have them like, doing the same gag. It's just the same gag. It's just, one person is in a truck and the other one's in a fast car and they're leaning around a police officer. I mean, I don't know what the other story elements are, so so that's the main one that would be super fun to get to do, like a car chase movie set in like the 70s South and like, homegirls,
Yeah.
The still workers, because people are like making mash and slinging shaft.
Heck yeah. And I mean,
I would be happy to direct that for you.
Yeah. And I was going to say, and then you already have someone that can help with the stunts. It's like,
right?
Oh, yeah.
Cannonball Run, yeah.
And then we just get these old cars.
Heck yeah.
They don't have to have any nice cars.
Fair. All right. So, Laura, we have a game that we're going to play right now. This is a game of Would You Rather. So let me preface this by saying there is no wrong answers. This is whatever you're feeling in the moment. So this is our little game of Would You Rather. We have a graphic. Let's bring it up. Okay. We know you're a bit of a daredevil. So would you rather go base diving or spelunking in a cave underground?
Base diving.
Now, have you done that before? Or have you skydived or any of the sort?
I've been skydiving, and I'm like really claustrophobic, so I feel like I'd freak out. My uncle is a spelunker. He's a spelunker. Spelunks.
Spelunks.
I have an uncle that spelunks, so he's my spelunkle. And I'm not doing that. I'm like, absolutely not.
Well, that's impressive
Absolutely
because
not.
you're the first person that actually knew what spelunking was. Like, I think we've asked one other person before about spelunking, and it was, yeah. No.
Yes, hashtag speluncle.
Hashtag speluncle. We all need one. All right.
Yep.
All right. Would you rather star in the last movie you watched or star in the last TV show you watched? If you can remember either of them.
It's on the same thing. Yeah, I guess it would be the last TV show I watched because it was The Simpsons. You know, I don't think I
Nice.
that, but I could have a voice in that. That would be awesome.
That would be epic. Yeah, you're talking to
shows.
to the biggest Simpsons fan, so we are right there with you. I think we had an episode of the show with Dolph Ziggler, who's like a WWE superstar, and our friend Chris Van Vliet, who's an interviewer, where we just did Ralph Wiggum impressions for like the entire hour. So sorry to everyone that watched that, but we had fun. That's all that matters. So.
Which is perfect.
Yeah, it was fun.
Perfect.
We had fun. I'm playing Wickle Puppy. All right, here's the next one. Okay. Would you rather only be able to sing show tunes or only be able to sing Kids Bop songs?
Show tunes. I'm afraid that a Kids Bop is in my future.
Well, yeah. In a couple more months, girl, you better, order up those CDs
I
or
don't
whatever.
know. My kid's gonna be. I can't wait to hear Kids Bop version of WAP.
Oh, it's coming.
Should be interesting.
No.
Well, let's think. Well, it would just be about macaroni, like the whole song.
Oh, I'm not looking forward to
Yeah,
that.
it would be. I don't know how they're gonna do that.
Macaroni in a pot. Macaroni. Okay, anyway, we'll move along. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Our next one is: would you rather only be able to dress in 1910s fashion or in 1980s fashion?
I have to go with the 80s. So the 10s would be cool for a second, but then you get hot. So I think you have to go for the 80s because then you could be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fair.
A lot more crop tops in the 80s, I'm sure. So
I'm going for it. I'm getting a little bumpy, but that's okay. I'll still crop up.
You're allowed. All right. Here's the next one. Okay. Would you rather be cast in a film as a superhero or cast in a film as a historical figure?
Man, that's a tough one. But I did say I wanted to do a like an action film, but I think I would go for a historical figure. My inner artist would want the drama.
Does anyone stand out to you?
I picked the drama.
Hell yeah.
Well, there's this lady that, I mean, I should think of something better, but all I can think about is there's this, and I can't remember her name right now, but she was like a pilot, and her husband and her went around and in Africa, and they like shot documentaries in Africa. And I can't remember her name right now, but anyways, she's like one of the first female filmmakers that there was.
Oh, wow.
That's badass.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had like, it was called like, you know, I mean, some of the stuff she did has probably not aged well, but they really did like go to the pygmy tribe. Like they would go to like tribes in Africa that would be absolutely not wanting to welcome them, and they would end up like being friends and doing it. I mean, they did. It was a really interesting thing. Man, it'll come to me, but anyways.
Cool. No worries. All right.
That's a good one, though. Oh, God. I apologize about this
What
one.
is
Would you rather have to listen to I'm Blue for 24 hours or have to listen to Mambo number 5 for 24 hours? And this is straight. You can't pause it or stop it or go away.
Mambo number 5. I go Mambo
All
number
right.
5. I kind of did that anyways when I was 10 years old. So I kind of did a mixture of that when I was younger.
Yeah. I remember when the Disney version came out, and like at that time, Danica and I were taking dance classes together. Do you remember that, Danica? Like they made us listen to the Disney. It was like a little bit of Daffy in my life.
Yeah, it was bad. It was so bad.
I want a little bit of Daffy in my life. I'm good with it. All right. Here's the next one. Okay. Would you rather know how to play every instrument or know how to speak every language?
I think I'd pick every instrument. Because then you do speak every language, right?
Music is universal. This does include the mandolin.
So music is my language. Languages. Okay, anyway. So it goes back to a musical, guys.
That's cool. You're in good company.
Yeah.
All right. I think this next one is our last one. Okay. Okay.
Right. Though we already know you have a name picked out, but if you had to change it, would you rather have to name your child after a Disney villain or after a cryptid? One of my favorite.
I think I can tell what a cryptid is.
One of my favorite ideas that I came up with was
respect.
Like, Sasquatch Wiggins or Chupacabra.
Is
Wiggins.
Phoenix? Oh, Phoenix. Okay. Pterodactyl. Wait, what is Yeti? There's a lot of, yeah. I think Clementina is more fitting.
A little bit.
I go with the Disney villain though, because people are going to respect her more, Nobody's going to be like, no, I can't remember anybody's name. Like, Cruella de Vil, like, oh man, like, don't let her dog sit, but
yeah,
but she's gonna be rich. But she's gonna be rich. She's gonna be opinionated.
Amazing. All right. Well,
Jafar.
Yeah, Jafar.
You guys know the Jafar today.
I love it. Who is that? Is that one Hades from Hercules?
Yeah, from Hercules, totally.
Oh, so underrated.
And I don't know what that character's name is, but it's definitely the guy from The Night on Bald Mountain from Fantasia at the very back.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know his name.
Mm-hmm. I don't know that he has a name. He's just, the devil guy, I guess. I don't know.
Cool. All right. Well, we have come to the end, unfortunately. So before we wrap this up, Laura, is there any final thoughts that you want to leave us with here today?
I think the one thing I gotta say is go on Amazon Prime and check out The Hitchhiker's Guide at the Edge of the Galaxy. It's a really goofy comedy that I'm in, and if you like it, leave a review because it's like super indie and we need reviews. But if you don't like it, then do not leave a review. How indie it is, it'll make someone cry. And then I'm at Laura Slade 11 and at Laura Slade, I think, Instagram. But if you look at my name, you can find me on all the platforms and stuff. But yeah, make sure that you like the weird film that is the trapdoor, that you go to the trapdoor at the edge of the galaxy and check it out. If you don't like it, then don't make anyone cry, because we will read them. We will read those reviews.
Fair enough. Well, I know what I'm doing tonight because quarantine, and that's what we do, is we watch movies and TV shows all day. Yes! So, Laura,
it's weird. It's really weird, and I'm proud of it.
We love weird. This is we had Lloyd Kaufman. I don't know how familiar you are with Trauma films, but he did now I'm not going to remember any of the names. The Toxic Avenger and Shakespeare Shitstorm. So we've had weird, and we embrace it, and we love it, and that's
Snyder. We get weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But we do want to remind everybody that for the rest of this month, we're streaming on both Tuesdays and Thursdays. So this Thursday, we have Andrew Volpe, who is the singer from Ludo. So that'll also be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So from all of us here at Talkulture, to you, Laura, thank you so much. You've been an absolute delight. And hopefully we'll get to do this again soon. And congratulations again.
Thank you.
We can't wait to meet her.
One of me.
Yay!
I like to get tiny hillbilly teeth.
Yeah. Oh my God. One tooth, just the one.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Oh man. Thank you so much for joining us, Laura.
And we'll see you guys on Thursday. Be safe, everybody.